If you are over 60, there is a very high chance that a specific low-cost staple is sitting in your kitchen right now. It is affordable, it's a lifetime habit, and most of us consider it completely harmless. In fact, you might have eaten it for breakfast this morning without a second thought. But for a body over 60, this cheap food may be the hidden engine behind your daily aches and pains. We aren't talking about a rare chemical or a strange supplement. We are talking about a food that is so common it's almost invisible. Yet, beneath the surface, it may be quietly fueling systemic inflammation. Are you waking up with stiff fingers and knees that crunch when you walk? Do you feel a heavy wave of fatigue hit you every afternoon? Are you struggling with stubborn weight around your belly, rising blood pressure, or a brain fog that makes it hard to focus? Most people will tell you, that's just what happens when you get older. I am here to tell you that it might not be aging, it might be your grocery list. In the next few minutes, I'm going to reveal exactly what this food is, the surprising biological mechanism it triggers in an aging body, and most importantly, the smarter, safer alternatives that can help you reclaim your energy. Before you throw anything away or change your diet, you need to watch this until the end. Understanding how this one cheap food affects your internal chemistry is the first step to feeling 10 years younger. The hidden inflammation problem after 60. To solve the problem, we have to understand the enemy, chronic inflammation. This isn't the swelling you see when you bruise your arm. This is silent inflammation. It's a low-grade, persistent fire that travels through your bloodstream, irritating your arteries, your joints, and your brain tissues. Why does this become such a crisis after 60? As we age, our metabolism becomes significantly more sensitive. Our cells naturally begin to lose their insulin sensitivity, meaning our bodies have to work much harder to process the fuels we give them. At 30, your body could bounce back from a poor meal in an hour. At 65, that same meal can trigger an inflammatory response that lasts for days. Because the symptoms of this silent inflammation like stiffness, mild fatigue, and slower recovery mimic the symptoms we associate with getting old, we often ignore the warning signs. We assume we are just wearing out, but in many cases your body isn't wearing out. It's being constantly irritated by what's on your plate. Sometimes the difference between a senior moment and a sharp mind is simply a matter of lowering the inflammatory background noise in your system. Reveal: the cheap food. The food we are talking about is white bread and highly refined flour products. It is the ultimate invisible food. It's the toast with your eggs, the sandwich at lunch, and the roll with your dinner. It's incredibly inexpensive and easy to find, which is why it's a staple for millions of seniors. But white bread is essentially a pre-digested carbohydrate. During the milling process, the fiber and the germ are stripped away, leaving only the starchy endosperm. When you eat 2 slices of white bread, your body doesn't have to do any work to break it down. It hits your system almost like pure glucose. In fact, on the glycemic index, white bread often scores higher than actual table sugar. This means those 2 harmless slices can spike your blood sugar faster than you ever imagined. For a body over 60, this isn't just a snack, it's a metabolic shock. You might think you're eating a budget-friendly staple, but your body is paying a very high price in inflammation. What happens in your body after eating IT? Let's look at the inflammatory chain reaction that starts the moment you take a bite of that white toast. The glucose spike. Because there is no fiber to slow it down, the starch turns to sugar instantly. Your blood glucose levels shoot up. The insulin surge. Your pancreas, sensing the danger of high blood sugar, pumps out a massive dose of insulin. Inflammatory signaling. This insulin spike acts as a megaphone for your immune system, signaling it to release pro-inflammatory cytokines. Oxidative stress. As your body struggles to manage the sugar, it creates free radicals that can damage the lining of your blood vessels. This is why 2 hours after a sandwich, you feel that midday crash. Your blood sugar has plummeted, leaving you hungry and irritable, but the real damage is in your joints. The inflammatory chemicals triggered by that insulin spike settle into your knees, hips, and back, causing that rusted feeling. Over time, this daily cycle leads to weight gain around the abdomen and elevated blood pressure. After 60, your body clears this glucose much more slowly, meaning you stay in this inflamed zone for a huge portion of your day. Why it's worse after 60? At 65, your body's storage tanks are different than they were at 40. We naturally lose muscle mass as we age, a process called sarcopenia. Muscles are your body's primary glucose sinks. They are where you store extra sugar. With less muscle, there is nowhere for that white bread spike to go, so it stays in the blood longer, doing more damage. Furthermore, our hormonal balance shifts, making us more prone to holding onto visceral fat. Our gut microbiome also becomes more sensitive. The lack of fiber in refined flour can lead to an imbalance in gut bacteria, which is a major driver of systemic inflammation. Your blood vessels are also less flexible than they used to be, meaning the oxidative stress from blood sugar spikes hits your cardiovascular system much harder. What your body tolerated at 40 may be the very thing triggering a flare-up of arthritis or hypertension at 65. Who is most at risk? While everyone should be mindful, certain groups are in the high danger category. If you have been told you have prediabetes or type 2 diabetes, white bread is essentially an enemy in disguise. If you manage high blood pressure, the inflammatory nature of refined flour can make your medication's job much harder. Seniors who suffer from arthritis or chronic joint pain are also at extreme risk. Every slice of white bread is like adding fuel to the fire in your joints. But here's the important part: you do not have to be overweight to be affected. Many thin seniors suffer from internal inflammation that clouds their thinking and stiffens their movement. If you eat refined carbs daily, your body is likely struggling beneath the surface, regardless of what the scale says. The smarter alternatives. The goal here isn't to eliminate bread forever, it's about smarter swaps. We want a lower glycemic load and higher fiber. True whole grain bread. Look for 100% whole wheat or sprouted grain. The first ingredient should never be wheat flour. It must be whole grain, sourdough, in moderation. The fermentation process in authentic sourdough can make the carbohydrates easier to digest and lower the glycemic response. High-protein wraps. Look for wraps made from chickpeas or almond flour. Oat-based breads. Oats contain beta-glucan, a fiber that actually helps lower cholesterol and stabilize blood sugar. The one-slice rule. If you can't give it up, replace one slice with a protein, like an egg, or a healthy fat, like half an avocado. These options provide a slower glucose release and better satiety, meaning you feel full longer. Most importantly, they don't trigger that massive inflammatory response. You're still enjoying your meal, but you're protecting your joints at the same time. How to transition without shocking your system? Don't try to change your entire pantry overnight. Start with frequency. If you eat white bread every day, try switching to every other day. When you do eat it, always combine it with protein. Protein acts like a buffer that slows down the sugar spike. A slice of bread with a piece of chicken or an egg is much safer than a slice of bread with jam. Watch your portion sizes and monitor how you feel over the next 7 to 10 days. Many seniors find that within just 1 week of reducing refined flour, their morning stiffness begins to lift, their afternoon energy stabilizes, and they sleep more soundly. This isn't about restriction. It's about a strategic adjustment to your unique biology. Common mistakes. The biggest mistake is the multigrain trap. Many breads are labeled multigrain or honey wheat, but they are still made primarily of white flour with a few seeds thrown in for decoration. They are just brown-colored white bread. Another mistake is switching to gluten-free bread, thinking it's healthier. Many gluten-free breads use potato starch or rice flour, which can spike your blood sugar even higher than white bread. Finally, don't ignore your total daily carbohydrate load. Even healthy bread can cause issues if you're eating too much of it. This is about balance and realism. You want to find a sustainable way to eat that supports your longevity. Important safety notes. If you are diabetic, you must monitor your glucose levels closely when making these changes. Your medication needs may change as your blood sugar stabilizes, so always keep your doctor in the loop. It's also important to remember that bread itself isn't toxic. The problem is the refined nature and the frequency with which we eat it. Individual tolerance varies. What works for your neighbor might not work for you. Always listen to your body's signals. We are aiming for support and health, not extreme elimination. Bigger message. It's about daily habits. Chronic inflammation doesn't happen because of one bad meal. It builds up slowly over years of small, daily choices. The cheap foods we buy for convenience are often the most metabolically expensive in the long run. By becoming aware of these hidden triggers, you take back control of your health. You don't have to accept fatigue and pain as your permanent fate. When you choose intentionality over automatic habits, you are choosing a more vibrant, active future. Now, I have a question for you. Do you eat bread every day? And more importantly, have you
noticed a crash after your lunch? Tell me in the comments. I want to know what your biggest inflammation symptom is. If you found this helpful, please hit the like button and subscribe. We are building a community of seniors dedicated to staying sharp and strong. And make sure to watch our next video. Seniors, if you wake up tired, your liver may be begging for this. You won't want to miss it. After 60, your health deserves intentional choices, not automatic habits. I'll see you in the next one.